Ready, Jake? All right. Very good. Welcome, everybody. Let's call this meeting of the Marion County Board of Supervisors to order. Roll call, Jake.
Keisha Johnner. Here. Mark Ramey.
Here.
Steve McCombs.
Here.
Would entertain a motion on this morning's agenda.
Make motion to approve this morning's agenda.
Second.
McCombs.
Aye.
Ramey.
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
Very good. Communications. Jake, anything of note?
The board, we've been getting emails for the Pleasant Grove Township trustee thing that was on the agenda for a future meeting, so.
Okay,
nothing
very
other
good.
than-
Board members, Steve?
Well, nothing other than what's already on the agenda.
Okay, yeah, we got that. Keisha?
Yep.
All right, very good. Public comment. This is the portion of our agenda where the public can speak on items not listed. Missy, you're up there already. Well, wait a minute, wait, let me finish my spiel.
Okay.
Man, I rehearse this every day. This is the portion where the public can speak on items not listed on the agenda. The board cannot act on those items. They could be topics for future board meetings. Missy?
So I would just like to make a comment. It's not something that needs action from you. It was 2 years in the making. Press is here, so I wanted, to get the word out to the public that zoning classifications are now on the parcel report page of Beacon. So everyone, it's bold letters, says zoning, because there's always a confusion between your taxation classification and your zoning. So we've worked really hard to get that on there, and I just wanted, since we have press here, to let everybody know and get out the word out to the public.
Okay, very good. Missy, thank you very much. Are there any other public comments on items not listed on this morning's agenda? Anything online, Emily? Okay, oh, we have one back got a hand in the back. Yes, ma'am, please step forward and identify yourself.
Feels like Good morning. My name's Jocelyn Richards, and I'm just here to thank the Board of Supervisors, Keisha especially, and Jared that has been attending the Pleasant Grove trustee meetings, and especially to the HR department because they've been very helpful in fielding all the questions and helping with the application. I don't know if that's what you want to call it, but that's what I'm going to call it. And I just wanted you to know how much I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll get this taken care of, and I'll see you on the 28th.
All right, very
Thank
good.
you all very much. Appreciate it.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, any other public comments? Emily, going once, going twice. All right, we'll move on. Thank you. I would entertain a motion on this morning's consent agenda.
Make motion to approve today's consent agenda.
Second.
Ramey.
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
Very good. On to business. First item is introduction of our new Economic Development Assistant Director, Carla. Now, you're not the new Assistant Director.
No, I'm
You're
the very
introducing the new-
old assistant. I'm the very old economic development director. First, want to thank the board for allowing us to do this hire. It's a really important part of our succession planning. Very excited to have Christopher Watkins on board with the Development Commission. I certainly want to thank HR and our partners with the Greater Des Moines Partnership, DMAC Business Resources, as well as Megan and Sarah from my commission who sat in on the interviews to do this, and Steve's group for allowing us to use Cordova as a place to do interviews. We are very excited. Christopher comes to us with a wealth of experience, so I'll kind of let him introduce himself to you.
Chris, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks for the opportunity to work with Carla.
Christopher, Chris, what do you like to go by?
I go by Christopher, but if you call me Chris, it's better than what most people will call me.
Okay,
So,
very good. I just wanna
I'll
make
take
sure.
it. So, yeah, I hail from Eastern Iowa originally. Currently live in Sheraton. Was Lucas County Economic Development Director for the past 7 years, part-time. Also sell health insurance and farm. So really excited for the opportunity. Thanks for having me. Have some banking background. So hopefully we can keep Marion County moving forward. Looking
Excellent.
forward to it.
Very good.
Thanks.
Well, welcome aboard. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome aboard, Christopher.
All right, is there a motion to close discussion?
Make motion to close discussion.
Second.
Johnner.
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
Ramey.
Aye. We have the Marion County EMS Advisory Committee report. Steve, is that you? Or is that somebody else?
I believe it's somebody
Well, who is it? Dylan.
else.
It's me. Dylan Morse. I'm a representative from the Knoxville City Council, was asked to be a part of the advisory committee, reviewing and hopefully making a recommendation on EMS in Marion County. This came about just over a year ago, and corresponded, it didn't come about as a result of changes in kind of ownership and management of Pella EMS, but it sort of correlated with that just kind of by happenstance. The state of Iowa for many years has had sections of code on the books, 422D, 357. There's all kinds of different letters and numbers associated with it. Been on the books for several years. Within the last couple of years, they've dusted those off, made a few changes, and kind of trotted them out as, you know, hey, this can be an option to add some sustainability, shore up the services, EMS services around the state of Iowa. So far, there have been about a dozen counties that have adopted in one form or another, whether it be 422, 357, you know, whichever chapter they want to go under. About a dozen counties out there that have decided to move ahead with this type of a plan. Again, to add some financial security, financial stability, and other funding mechanism to these services, because we all know that when you need a first responder, you need a first responder, and they can't be there if they're not adequately resourced, whether that be with manpower, with equipment, financially, whatever. Speak louder. What it boils down to, I mean, obviously there are demographic differences between counties, between communities within counties. There are socioeconomic factors at play. There are, you know, differences with health insurance and different payers and things like that. But really, the silver bullet for all of this would be if there were an adjustment to the reimbursement rate at Medicare or Medicaid levels. Those sort of wag the dog further down the system in terms of other reimbursement rates, whether they be through private payers or elsewhere. And those reimbursement rates have not kept pace with certainly inflation, cost of doing business for the different agencies, things like that. So what we see at the community level, City of Pella, City of Knoxville, on an annual basis, run about a $600,000 deficit for emergency medical services in our communities. The idea behind this, and that translates to other, the smaller agencies as well, you know, Plessy, Indiana, Pleasantville, other places around the county. It's not necessarily felt as acutely because Knoxville and Pella's EMS agencies are fully staffed, 24 hours a day, have more equipment, different types of equipment, things like that. So there are different budgetary kind of issues that go into that, but some pretty large deficits there. If we were to move forward with a plan as outlined, this is not going to make anybody whole. This is not going to be a money maker for any of these agencies. We're not going to, you know, have staff outings to the Bahamas or anything like that as a result of any of these things. What it is going to do, and really primarily for the bigger communities in the county, it'll help to ensure that folks that are receiving services from those responding agencies, especially, will be contributing to the financial health of those agencies. So currently, even though residents out in the county, unincorporated areas, things like that, are paying a fire levy as a result of property tax legislation that's been on the books for years and years, by the letter of the law, that's really not EMS funding in the strictest sense. And actually, you know, as fire and EMS have kind of come to be sort of one entity within several of the communities over the years, what ends up happening is the agencies are taking from that fire levy to subsidize the operation of EMS. So it ends up not serving either purpose as fully or as well as it should. So there's that. There is not, without one of these 422, 357, et cetera, one of these mechanisms, there is not a line item funding mechanism out in the county for EMS services. Within incorporated areas of the county, the larger cities and places like that, those agencies are funded by general fund dollars primarily. There are grants and things like that, but they don't approach the levels that are needed to fully fund the agencies at a level that's really viewed to be more sustainable going forward. So the process of these discussions so far has been a long one. We've taken our time to really try and get our arms around the issues that are involved with emergency medical services. What does it look like from a staffing perspective? What are your challenges with staffing, equipment, dollars, facilities, all of those types of things? And we tried to be very thoughtful, very deliberate with our discussions. We wanted to make sure that not only would we be potentially bringing new revenue sources into the equation, we wanted to try and address, to the degree that we could, the expense side of things as well. So are we doing things that we don't necessarily need to do? Are there redundancies in the system that don't necessarily need to be there? Are there more efficient ways to operate the agencies? On and on. And what we found, really, a lot of the agencies, if not all the agencies in the county, there's a tremendous amount of cooperation that exists. And there's a huge amount of, I'll call it productive redundancy in the county. Generally when we think of like, oh, well, you've got more than one person doing the same thing, you really kind of want that, and you need that here. What we've found, and we can demonstrate with hard data, is there might be multiple situations throughout the course of a year where Knoxville has all of our ambulances out on calls or transfers or something like that. Pella comes to Knoxville to cover Knoxville's calls in the event that an additional one would come in. Bussey's moving to cover Pella. Someone else is covering Bussey. We've got kind of this Tetris effect throughout the county, which is fantastic. That's what you want. That's what you need. But we need to be able to take care of those agencies and make sure that they can continue to deliver high quality, effective healthcare when it's most needed by folks around the county. At this point, we met about a month ago among the advisory committee, taking all of the information into account that we've gathered and discussed over the last year. There was a motion and a unanimous vote among voting members to move forward with declaring EMS as an essential service in Marion County, which was, again, unanimously approved. We also unanimously agreed that the best mechanism to move forward with is the section of the code named 422D. This is a county-wide approach. The 357 options have some appeal from certain perspectives, but it's a lot more administrative work. And again, I think it adds maybe a layer of redundancy that's not productive or not needed. The 422D, we can kind of capture everybody in the county, and it's kind of a one-size-fits-all approach. Easiest. You're not going to have to go out and do all kinds of surveys and establish territories and things like that. That's all been done. But 422D would kind of put a lasso around the entire community entire county, and move forward with levying and collecting potential tax revenue at that level, as opposed to the more township or local level. By the letter of the law, the statute, our advisory group was not required. We did discuss several options over the course of the year for distribution methods. How do we collect? How do we, where does the money go and how does it get there if this were to become something that we wanted to fully adopt? While I think there is broad acceptance of probably a couple of the models that we've arrived at, we also know that the official EMS committee could take it and run with it. They could take it and throw it all out and start over and do their own thing. So our thinking, our plan, at least at this point, as an advisory committee, is to provide that formal committee, which will be comprised of many of the same members, provide that committee with our information, the data that we've collected, and allow them to make the binding decisions. But just to give everybody, because I know folks around the county are interested, give everybody kind of a taste of the direction or the end goal here. 422D would allow the levying of up to 75 cents per $1,000 of value to go toward EMS funding. We have no desire to go to that full 75 cents. And actually, we've seen in counties around the state that the folks that do try and go for the full 75 cents are less successful with their ballot initiatives than the folks that try and cap that, maybe somewhere around even the 60, 65 cent neighborhood. So that's probably the direction that I think would have the most legs, would be the most successful at a vote. And so that's, again, not a recommendation that we're bringing today, not something that we're proposing today, but probably something in that vein would be what we would forward and submit to the formal EMS committee. So that's kind of where we are. That's a fair amount of information
It is.
all at once.
It is. Board,
Yeah.
do you have questions for Dylan?
Well, I've only attended one meeting. And I think I made it very clear at that meeting that if we are to declare EMS an essential service, that my wishes were that the advisory council would be made up of a representative of every entity that provides those services in the county. That was, I think I made that pretty clear. I think that would only be the right thing to do, then everybody has a voice. And that being said, I know we can't take any action today, and correct me if I'm wrong, but even in order for us to get to that point to declare it an essential service, that meeting would have to be placed on the agenda 60 days ahead for the public to know about, according to the 422D chapter.
Jared,
that correct?
is that your recollection?
Yeah, well, that's what it says here.
Well, yeah, this is a discussion item, Steve, so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, I'm just making that clear that we won't be making any decision today, but when we get to the point where we are considering it an essential service, it has to be at 60-day notice. Before that's the first meeting. And then we have to have 2 more meetings after that. We would have to have those meetings.
So if, making sure that I understand it correctly.
Mhm.
So obviously just discussion today, but then we would then make a recommendation that we're looking to start that process. And is that how we're looking at that, Jake?
I think
Or,
Dylan and the committee would have to come and say they want to put it on as an agenda item within the notice period.
Speak for Jared, but I think the next step would be, at least officially from something that Jared would, in his office would, some sort of the public notice. There needs to be a 60-day public notice before even the board's first resolution for
Correct.
consideration with multiple readings. So
Correct.
to me, again, not speaking for Jared. give-
He's
let the
nodding
board-
in agreement.
The advisory committee can make the recommendation to you guys, but the board would need to direct formation of that public notice and then time to get it in the newspaper for that 60-day window before your first consideration.
Very good.
So it would be a board action to direct the language of the public notice.
Right, right. Apart from process, do you have any questions for Dylan on taxation and the increase in taxes that would be proposed or amounts? Or Dylan, you said the committee has landed between 65, 60, somewhere in there?
That's been.
Because that has to be in the ballot language if it goes that
Yes.
far.
Yes, Yep, that's been the general consensus. We've not, to date said, this is where we're gonna be, planted our flag on an amount. Because again, that can all change when the formal committee gets established and
That,
up and
that
running
was
and
my
all this.
point, Dylan.
So,
When the technically the advisory council, the committee that has to be formed after it's declared an essential service, be represented by everybody, and then those numbers will have to be put together formally.
correct.
Steve, were there any concerns expressed about that levy amount, if passed, being added to the county levy at that amount, pushing it over $10? Essentially erasing all of the levy reductions we've
Mhm.
done for 10 years.
Well, I said it was gonna be a hard sell.
Because the people would have to ultimately vote.
Well, I understand the mechanics. I'm just saying, were there any expressions of concern, though, that if our expenses go up, benefits, raises,
I'm not sure
we
that the
will have
committee,
to reach into the general fund to pay it?
I'm not sure that the committee is quite exactly aware how the levy system works.
Okay.
And that will have to be made clear at that time when this advice, everything's kind of in a circle until we declare an essential service, that we can get those facts to working, that
Yeah,
they can understand.
yeah.
I think at the 75 cent level, if we were to go, to the fullest extent of what 422D would allow at the 75 cent level, it would raise something in the neighborhood of $1.1 million across the entirety of the county. And
1.1 to 1.4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
somewhere in the neighborhood.
yeah.
And that's, agricultural, residential, commercial, industrial, spread across all taxpayers in the county at this point. So, yeah, as the formal committee gets up and running, assuming it gets to that point and is able to progress from here, yeah, there'll be a lot more education. That's the other thing that's been found and communicated by other counties that have been successful with this, and counties that haven't been successful with this. The ones that just put it out there and say, here it is, vote for it. Do you want to raise your taxes or don't you? People go, well, no. I'd really rather not. The folks that get out there and really pound the pavement, have those town hall meetings, have the informational sessions with their constituents, things like that, those are the ones that are successful. Because I think when people are faced with the idea, not that we're at this point within Marion County, but if things were to continue as they were with the financial structures as they are currently, we could approach a time where, somebody that lives outside of incorporated areas in the county, sorry, we'll be there when we'll be there, and that's not what you want to say. That's not what the dispatchers want. That's not what the first responders themselves want. That's not what we want as a county. I mean, this has ramifications all the way through the system. I mean, this is a big economic development issue. People want to live where they can live, and not where they'll, not have their medical emergencies addressed. So,
Dylan, what will the cities do with their levy if this is passed? Because right now, if you live in Knoxville and you have private insurance,
Correct.
you're paying for this essentially 3 times. You're paying a city levy, you pay your private insurance, and you pay a Medicare tax. So now everyone pay it 4 times. Are the cities going to keep their levies, or are they going to reduce those levies?
that would be up to individual communities. We can't speak to that at the committee level anyway. But I think in order to at least maintain the level of service. We want to make sure that they're being funded at least the same levels as they currently are, you know,
Well-
taking this new money into account.
Yeah,
and
but I want
and
to stop
that.
you right there for a second. If the cities lower their levies to what you just said, it's essentially a wash.
Right. So that's
So,
that's the
so
danger.
the cities have to almost guarantee they're going to maintain their levies. Otherwise, everything you just said about losing service, you're back to where you were. You'll shift the dollars to something else. So I think that has to be part of the discussion as well.
Absolutely.
All right. Any other questions, board?
Nope.
All right, so I imagine we'll get a submission then from the committee or something that triggers the notice process, Jake.
You want something more than what they
Are you,
presented today?
can we do it off of this, Jared? All right, so this starts the notice process, 60 days.
I
how long
believe
is
that
it?
you would need to put something on a next
Okay.
agenda.
So
Re-
make a note to put that on the next agenda then, and
Then
we'll take a vote on that.
they would craft that language. And I believe that,
Yeah, got it. Got it. Perfect. Thank you. No more questions? Steve? Keisha? Dylan? Thank you.
Thank
Dylan?
you, everybody.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, is there a motion to close discussion?
Motion to close discussion.
Second?
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
All right, very good. Thank you. Next, the pre-renewal summary for our property casualty, speaking of costs going up. Sorry, Scott.
What's that?
I didn't want to steal your thunder.
Oh, yeah, thank you. No, I kept pulled all the agents into Des Moines, last November. And, basically said that, all the communities should be expecting about a 30% increase. So we reached out to Jake right away to take a look at some of those, things that we could do. But, as the months have progressed, we've, been in touch with ICAP, and they said basically that the communities and municipalities are renewing the same as they did, just to see how this year would go. So with creativity and taking higher deductibles and things like that. And I think it's still new to ICAP, and so they haven't prepared for that yet. So our big concern was with that, is it going to continue? But and I'll let Tanya speak to it, but the deductible structures changed. And that's done that with the commercial and personal side of insurance too. So now we're moving to a win for everyone. So, which is significant. So I'll let you talk about the changes.
So the wind hail deductible on all buildings, contents, equipment, and auto physical damage is gonna go to a 2% if the wind hailstorm is catastrophic by ISO's definition. So then it's gonna be the 2%, and it's gonna be per item. So if you have a building and contents and equipment and autos at that location, each damage is gonna have a 2% deductible. They did away with the maximum deductible, which originally they had, so that was a plus. So that's how that's gonna work.
Okay.
I think one of the concerns is that with that 2% deductible, again, by a name catastrophic event, is that communities consider deductible funding. You know, so the courthouse is
We
being,
need you to use the mic, please.
the courthouse is being insured roughly about $30 million. And so should we have a catastrophic event, that could be a $600,000 not nothing the city has or the county has for surplus money laying around for those types of claims.
Be 10% of what we have.
So fairly significant.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was kind of our takeaway from it, being prepared for those because the storms are happening more frequently.
So board, this really is a pre-renewal meeting, just to ask questions. We got a significant cost increase potentially. We can look at changes in deductible, changes in coverage, some self-funding options. Uh, Scott, maybe just walk us through from an ICAP standpoint. I mean, they're kind of staying in the middle of the lane to set, almost renew as present terms. But are we looking down the road of these increases continuing because now we have more named storms? We're getting higher levels of damage. We talked
Yeah,
about
we're trying to
reinsurers
keep
pulling
that
capital
right
back.
now. What the pool does as a whole. We've looked at, a higher retention. Right now, the deductibles for, property, like Penny said, are relatively low. So, we looked at taking, significant deductibles, but it won't, you can take $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 deductibles, and it won't reduce the premium any. So there's no reason to have more out of pocket. Plus, if you did take a higher deductible with frequency, you end up paying more anyway. So yeah, we're just gonna watch and see what happens, and probably be around November this year, because they'll have their January renewals, are gonna be like wind, hail, buyback deductibles. So where we could get something separate that would absorb those other really large ones. So yeah, right now it's kind of a holding pattern.
And Jake, what's our total outlay for this line?
It's pushing between $600,000 and $700,000 a year. And this is what they're discussing is the property insurance and liability insurance.
Correct.
Is what we have through ICAP and also cybersecurity. But I believe I'm in that neighborhood now after the last year increase. Higher values have been placed on all the buildings because construction costs are so much more than they used to be. And that's a continual process of all of our automobile fleets and our equipment and buildings and stuff, trying to keep those and all the IT. So if there is a loss that, you have adequate coverage. So I believe ICAP is adding some additional value to our schedule as well this year. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's gonna be
So-
included in that 30%, so you're.
So
The mics are really kind of sensitive, sorry, but you gotta
Yep.
be able to, so people can hear online.
Within that 30%, your building coverages, your contents, and your additional properties, all of those values are going up 10%. And the reason for that is because of inflation and just the building cost and material cost. They just want to make sure that in the event of a loss, you are at replacement cost.
Right. And Tanya, we have not yet factored in our new Junction 92 location yet.
Not yet, no.
Okay. So from a board standpoint, just keep in mind, these are, we jumped from about a $500,000 outlay to about a $700,000 outlay. At this rate, we'll be at $1 million for insurance by next year, or at least close. If we continue, and Scott and I had this discussion, and with reinsurance capital being used up so much because of inflation, because of more named storms, because of what's going on in Florida and California, we're looking at a 7-figure outlay for just insurance cost for our property and liability and within the next year. From a board standpoint, what I would encourage you to do before we get to the final, let's do this, talk to Jake, get an idea on what those coverages are. As Scott said, and I want to really highlight this for everybody, the changes that we can make, if you turn a few dials, you will not make an appreciable change to the premium. What you'll do is increase what is out of pocket to us. So it's going to take a significant dial turn to bring that premium rate down, or we go to some other type of structure, whether that's a self-insurance style, but even that will take a significant outlay, and then you got to find somebody to back you. So with capital in the insurance world being what it is, very, very constrained right now, we have to be very careful. We have a good program, but the costs are, as it's happening with everybody. Taxpayers listening now, you've watched your car insurance go through the roof. You've watched your homeowners go through the roof. No pun intended. So anyway, I would get with Jake, look at the coverages, make sure you're familiar with that. And then when do we have to have this ready to go, Scott?
Your renewal's in July, so we typically get that the 1st of June, and we get that over to Jake.
Okay,
And if you guys have any questions whatsoever, Jake, if you need anything to help us assist you with just reviewing everything, being knowledgeable in it, let Scott or I know. We're here to help you with any questions, provide you with any information that you need.
So in
Very-
essence, the renewal that you'll be getting in the next month or however that, before July, is basically a status quo.
Yeah.
Except for their changes. And
it'll be a
then-
renewal at terms.
And then they're gonna dig into a renewal for next year with if there's anything that can be adjusted or changed, essentially.
All right, very good.
So we'll get with Jake on that and then. involve
Yeah,
the
if board
maybe in some of
board
those
members have questions,
specific
contact these
questions,
two, contact Jake, and then we'll settle on what we think our meeting date is to settle on final terms. Okay, sound reasonable? Okay, very good. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate the update. All right, is there a motion to close discussion?
Motion to close discussion.
Second?
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
All right, next, St. Mary's Catholic Church road request, which is 218 Place in Pella. And we've had this several times over the course of the last several years. Is there anybody from St. Mary's here to speak? Okay. Hello, popping out of the corner there on us.
We're hiding in the other room.
So gentlemen, if you don't mind, identify yourselves and feel free to make your comment.
My name is Douglas Poking, member of St. Mary's Parish. And I'll let him handle himself when he gets there. The purpose of our meeting obviously is to discuss the 218th Place Road. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a brief history on 218th. For those that are not familiar with it, if you look at it, it is the road right to the west of Walmart. We are approximately 2,600 feet down the road from there. Our church was built and dedicated in 2009, and it became very obvious to us shortly after we were there that there were significant safety concerns in our part. Obviously, the dust, especially in the last couple of years, has been, shall we say, significant for visibility. The road conditions itself, at times, even though the county engineer has done a tremendous job of trying to keep that road smooth and workable for us. If you were on it today, especially where they had put some dust repellent on it, on the private area. The road is treacherous this morning. You might want to put it in four-wheel to get up parts of it. And another thing that we are very concerned about is the fact that on Wednesday nights, not only on weekends during Mass and services, but on Wednesday night, we will have over 200 kids between the ages of 6 to 12 driving out there on that dust road, that very soft road. Again, I mentioned that fact that the church was dedicated in 2009. Around 2017, we contacted all the people in the area, property owners, with the express intent of contacting with the city and the county. We reluctantly have a problem with the road, meaning 56% city, 44% county, two governmental agencies that we have to deal with. So we contacted all the property owners with the indication that we would be interested in pursuing help from those two entities to develop and pave this road. At that time, the county, with the county engineer, put together a cost proposal at that time of approximately $650,000 to $700,000 to pave the road. That was obviously not put forward. The city, we have met with the city a couple different times. The city actually has money in their budget for this fiscal year for parts of this road. So what we are trying to do today to restart is to see if we can get the county and the city to work together with St. Mary's to pave this road for safety, development. We know there are some businesses along that road, and we really would like to have you think seriously about it. Before I turn it over to Brian Huddle, I do have to give you one little tidbit. A couple months ago, my grandson, who at the time was 4 years old, was in the back seat of my car, and we were going out to church. Now, he'd been out there as a 4-year-old, probably, he's not from Pella, a couple different times. And he looked at me and he said, "Papa, can I keep my window down until we get to the dusty road?" Even the 4-year-old knew that that road is a not safe road all the time.
Brian? Thank you. Brian Huddle. I didn't know we were going with the old tug at the heartstrings there, but that's pretty good. We did meet with the city in October at the city council meeting, and got, again, like Doug said, a lot of good positive things from the city that that they would help us out. Looked in annexation from the area neighbors, and that time we penned a letter that was sent to the supervisors and had a petition of 420 people sign that. So this is our request. And so I guess the questions we would have, is it possible that the county give up their portion of the road?
Give it up to who?
To the city.
I guess I wouldn't, I would consider that possibility.
Yeah. I mean, if that's the solution, that's less work for us.
You know, obviously the county has the criteria for paving roads. And obviously 218th does not meet that criteria. And there's a lot of roads in the county that, you know, we would like to pave. And I don't know if you heard any of the meeting here a couple months ago that our maintenance side of the county roads, we're basically just in maintenance mode with the cost of everything. That's the problem, what we're having.
Yeah, I think
And
maybe.
I understand the dust problem because, you know, I've lived on gravel roads all my life and they are what they are. But,
Yeah.
I would personally consider if the city was willing to take it over, I would consider that, yeah.
I think,
Myself.
I think that's maybe of all the years I've been on the board, maybe the best idea I've heard.
Okay.
So, but we'd have to talk to the city of Pella and
Yeah,
see if
and
that's
that
something they're
was
willing to
the-
do.
Part of our deal too is to try to get the entities to talk, to try to come up with a solution there and see what our next step is also. I mean, the other part is, you know, St. Mary's obviously is willing to do some funding there to help out, which is
Brian, I'm not sure, but I think when the county engineer put together a construction plan, I think it was for a rural section of paved road. And I don't know, I'm not sure exactly how the city was felt about that, but I guess I'd let somebody else speak to that.
Okay.
I'd like to know Tyler's thoughts.
Well, I guess I can kind of answer the question about the jurisdiction. So obviously you can see the jurisdictional split, it's about 54% in the city. Now, we have done transfers of jurisdiction. We've done a transfer of jurisdiction for half of a road to the city of Bussey in the past. We've done a transfers of jurisdiction to the Corps of Engineers for various road segments. What I don't know in this particular case is that parcel to the left or west side of 218th. I know you cannot annex the right of way. The city could not annex that right of way because that would create an island for that particular parcel, which is still in the county. I don't know about transfer of jurisdiction, how that would impact that parcel, or whether Iowa code will allow us to do a transfer of jurisdiction because of that one parcel on the west side.
But it is something we could have a discussion
We could have a
around.
discussion about that. We haven't actually looked at.
Okay,
We've brought up transfer of jurisdiction in the past, but it's never been thoroughly evaluated.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have no problem at least doing the research on that and seeing if it's even possible
Yeah,
to do it.
I think that parcel to the west is the part that I'm unsure about.
Yeah.
How it impacts that
Yeah,
per code.
Yeah, I
yeah,
guess we're, get those two entities talking, it is a strange situation, having both like that, and we'd like that to happen, and I guess if there's anything you can tell us, what would be our next step?
well, as a board, do you have any problem with at least doing some research on this question?
I have no problem with it.
Keisha?
I'd just like to say, Brian, I appreciate you bringing this to us. I understand the struggle, and I too live on gravel. And knowing that, when I purchased, it was on gravel, and I'm sure the church had aspirations that one day it would be paved. But it is difficult for us, because there is more heavily trafficked roads than actually that one. And so then we have to think of precedents. So I am willing to, further that discussion. And maybe the next steps and getting together,
Yeah,
board and with the city.
So
so
we're talking just about the north-south segment, correct?
is that all?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, very good.
Bruce,
Good morning.
Appreciate the opportunity to approach and their service to the community and citizens of the county. I'm a property owner and I live on that stretch of road. Part of my property is in the city limits, part of it is not. I guess this has been an ongoing, I'll call it an event for quite some time. And, there's some progress shown back when that fell apart. I guess I look at this here as an opportunity. I know that relationships with the current administration have been less than amicable. And I see that this could be a very good partnership between the county and the city. And I think the Catholic Church has agreed to participate financially, that we could get some resolution. I do know that the island that would be created, so it could not, you're right, could not be annexed in jurisdiction. I hadn't thought about that, but maybe that's an opportunity. But I just want to take this opportunity to appreciate your willingness to consider, and maybe we can start putting together a coalition or take this to work together. I know that a lot of people say they live on gravel roads, and there are plenty of them around the county. But at times, on Wednesday and Saturday and Sunday, there is hundreds of cars go by on that piece of property within 20 minutes, and it's twice. They go out and they come back. And I've seen that whole valley all the way up to the front door fairway level with dust. You can't see anything if there's no breeze. So I would strongly urge you and really appreciate your consideration.
Well,
I'm
thank you,
sorry,
sir.
sir, but I didn't catch your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Bruce Skibout.
Bruce?
I'm sorry. I didn't introduce.
Well, Bruce, thank you for your comment.
Yeah,
We sure
thank
do
you.
appreciate it. And I think, Tyler, if we could just do the research on the piece that you raised to see what is possible from that standpoint, because that'd be the first step for us.
Yeah, I guess a clarifying thing would be, would the city be willing, would be the first question, to take the transfer of
Well,
jurisdiction.
I mean, let's answer our question and then let's talk to Mike and see if that's even something that they're willing to do. And if the answer is either we can't do it because of issues on transfer, and transferring that right away, or Mike, well, then we're at a different point. Then we either have to say, hey, we can't get this done ourselves, and we need to have more discussion, or it goes where it's gone the last several years, where it's just kind of stopped and it's raised at a later date. I would handle your side of it, see what we can do there, and then one of us can sure have a conversation with Mike and the folks in Pella and see if they're even open to something. Like, have you had a conversation with
Yeah,
the city of
we've
Pella
had
on that? Are they open?
You have to use the mic, sir. Brian, you have to use the mic. Is there handheld?
Well, he said, yeah, he said they're,
Have you discussed the jurisdiction?
okay. So at least let's do our research and then see where we go.
I would certainly take, be aware of the opportunity that the church is willing participant. And I think that would be remiss if, the two political, entities did not keep that in mind.
Absolutely. No,
Thank you.
appreciate it
Thank you
very
for your
much. Jake, do we need any kind of motion to have Tyler do that, or can he just? Okay,
No. That might take some time
Oh.
to research that. So I would say, I guess just wait and hear from me versus putting it on the next
Yeah,
agenda.
sure. Yeah, we're not saying there's a clock
Yeah.
running here, Tyler. Yeah.
Can I make one other comment? Because look, you alluded to the fact that we've been through this and things have kind of just died at certain stages throughout the last 6-7 years. However that goes here in our research, won't change my recommendation if it comes back to the county being a financial participant. My recommendation is still going to be to not participate for you.
Well, let me,
My recommendation to you would be to not participate in paving of this.
well,
in
I'm not
any
gonna,
way, shape, or
well,
form.
Tyler, I appreciate that. I'm not gonna speak for these two. But if we have to fork out money for this, I don't think we're gonna do it. I'm just gonna be blunt.
I don't think we can afford to.
I don't think, we're not, if Pella, the stopping point before has been, what is Pella's plan going, and we've had these discussions, what's Pella's plan going toward the church? And they really haven't had one. So we would do all this work, all this paving, all this prep work, and then we would not, then Pella would come in and, I'm not being a little crass here, but they would come in and just take it from us after we did all the work. Well, that's not fair either. So giving being able to just concede that property back to Pella with no cost, that's win for us. But it has to be that, or probably we're not going very far.
Yep, I'll communicate with you when we have
Okay.
some answers.
Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
For your comments. We sure appreciate it. All right. Is there a motion to close discussion on this?
Make motion to close discussion.
Second?
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey.
Aye. We are speeding through this, folks. Item number 5. Restated 2080, second amended and restated 2080 for Heart of Iowa region. Do I have any of my region people online? Is Rachel there? Rachel, all right, you're muted.
I'm on, Mark. Darcy's in another meeting this morning.
Maybe just give us the thumbnail sketch here.
Yep. So this is essentially the same 2080 agreement that is used for the Cross region. So if everyone recalls, or if you don't recall, or refresh your memory, this past July, Cross in the Cross counties voted to have Heart of Iowa region manage the Cross region. We are now able to formally join the Heart of Iowa region as we have the Southern Hills region, which is to the west of us, is also formally joining Heart of Iowa, which make us all contiguous counties. So we can become one 13-county region as Heart of Iowa.
And Rachel, other members that have passed this, are we first, last, in the middle?
Marion would be number 10. So we have 3 left after today. Actually, we have another on the agenda today, so.
Okay, very good. Board, any questions for what, and Rachel, hang on after we talk about this, because I'd like you to just talk briefly about the mental health changes that we think are coming.
Okay, yeah.
So-
Rachel, could you just tell us, just for my own knowledge, it adds additional counties. Are we talking, how many counties are we talking about? I mean, it says
Yep.
13, but
Yep, so right now Cross is 6, Heart of Iowa is 3, and Southern Hills is 4. So we would be a total of 13 counties.
okay. Thank you for that explanation.
Yep.
Chairman Ramey, quick question.
Yes.
Hey, Sheriff Sandholt here. Just in
Jason.
regards to the new legislation on the map that they're kind of proposing, Rachel, where it talks about us joining, it's Jasper, Polk, Dallas, Madison, Warren, us, with that 6-county region. How would this impact that? Or if if that's the decision that, yeah, this is going to be the new region there, what happens then?
Hey, Jason,
Yep.
you're stealing my thunder.
Oh, okay, sorry. I just know I guess that's just my concern is, okay,
Yeah.
if all of a sudden July 1,
Yeah,
Sorry.
so Rachel, hang on and talk about that. This, I'm going to say it this way, Rachel, you can correct me. This is an administrative issue for us because of the current structure of the region and those other regions that have now joined in Heart of Iowa. So we have to do this to continue to function, but then the impact of mental health law changes. Well, that's what's coming, Jason. You're exactly right. And I'll have Rachel talk about that here in a sec.
yeah, whatever. I just know that's that discussion or whatever, that if Marion County ends up going with those other 5 counties or whatever, that's going to impact, how things are. So the long term, I just didn't know how that's going to apply or to get into another agreement with what's going to happen there or what.
Yeah, Rachel will talk about that. Let's deal with this issue first. This is to continue operations as we are right now before mental health law changes impact us. And again, Rachel will talk about that. Okay, Steve?
No, I have none.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the second amended and restated 2080?
Take that motion.
Second,
McCombs,
aye.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
All right, very good. Rachel, do you mind giving a quick update on the potential impacts then of the new mental health legislation to this entire structure?
Yep. So the legislation was passed this past session that July 1 of 2025, mental health regions as they exist today will not exist. So things are going to look quite a bit different with the administrative structure of how regions have existed previously. So the state has proposed and will be implementing administrative service organizations. Right now, they have a proposed 7 districts. So the ASOs will administer those 7 districts. Sheriff Sandholt's correct. Marion is put in with Polk County, Jasper, Warren, Madison, and Dallas. They do state there will be public comment time for comments on that proposed map. We've kind of heard different rumblings that maybe they'll go down to maybe 5 districts. So the districts will be even larger. One thing we do hope is to really make our case with this 13 county region that we're doing for the next year. That we're wanting to stand up services and make sure rural Iowa doesn't get forgotten. We have a lot of disenfranchised counties, so to speak, that they are service deserts, and we don't want to see that happen to Marion County. So we're kind of making plans A, B, and C to move forward and have Heart of Iowa continue on either as the ASO for a district or more, as well as potentially a service organization.
So Rachel, who approves the ASOs? Who's the ultimate regulatory authority over this?
The state. So it'll be an RFP process. So the HHS will determine who is awarded. And it was in the legislation that counties cannot you can't fight that, that they have the final say over the maps.
Jason, any other thoughts on that?
No, I'm just curious to know, what I don't want us to do is get locked into something again or whatever that's going to ultimately change. I mean, obviously you just voted to do it. My concern is just down the road, how does that all play out? How long is this 2080 for? How does that do it? I mean, I see pros and cons both ways. I see that,
This
you
will
know,
go- Jason, this 2080, once this process kicks in, this 2080 will go away.
as of July 1 next year.
It won't exist.
Okay, yeah, well then I guess there's no concerns or whatever along those lines. I think we just really have to sit down and weigh all the different benefits of each of the different areas.
No, you're absolutely correct. And I know Rachel and the group are staying on top of this. There's a lot of unknowns. And we have to continue to see where the state is going to take mental health. Again. Board, any additional questions for Rachel?
Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, thank you.
Rachel, thank you very much. All right, since we approved that, we'll just move on.
I don't. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Next, special event permit application, Knoxville Ragbri Executive Committee. Heather?
As you probably know by now, Ragbri is coming through Marion County as well as Knoxville for an overnight stop on July 24th. In order to plan for this event, an executive committee as well as several overnight or subcommittees have been formed just to plan for the festivities and everything that encompasses that many people coming through the town that night. It has been determined that we would like to have the main festival area in our downtown to be able to show off our businesses and as well as the courthouse. And so coming to you, as you know, the courthouse grounds is a large portion of that downtown area. So we are requesting to be able to utilize those grounds. It would mainly just be for open space that we would like to utilize it for, as well as then the gazebo. But yeah, so coming to you today to ask for that.
I see Chris Nesterby just behind you. Chris, any issues or concerns? And then Jason, you've been on the committee as well. Are you up to speed on this?
Yeah, I've talked to Chief Fuller about it. I think that obviously our reserves, we're working through on, just how are we going to pay our reserves? How are we going to pay for it? The city of Knoxville was awarded, or I guess the committee was awarded 50,000, but as a county, we got 2,500 for county roads, 2,500 for the sheriff's office. So we're working through that, but as long as Chief Fuller is in agreement with us utilizing our staff and stuff, I have no problem with it.
Okay, very good. And Jake, everything as far as agreements and insurance has been submitted and
Yeah, this is the application.
Okay.
So.
All right.
I'm not aware of anything.
Board, any questions for Heather? All right. All right. If none, is there a motion to approve?
Yeah, make the motion to approve the special event permit for Ragbri.
Second.
Thank you, Heather.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
All right, very good. Next, resolution 2024-50, which is a food and merchandise vendor at the campgrounds.
Well, so
Missy.
this,
You got to get real close, Missy, or you got to use the handheld.
So, in 2013, we just did a, special use permit, kind of a blanket special use permit to allow people to do what they're gonna do out there. I mean, it's what we've done here. So this year, because of some change in the zoning ordinance, what we did was a group of us, the county attorney's office, the zoning office, the county road department, environmental health and public health, put together guidelines of, counties do everything different. I reached out to counties. Some are going as far as doing ordinances. Others are not doing anything. By setting forth guidelines, we give, I guess that would make, if we had a potential health outbreak because they didn't have food, they hadn't gone through the proper food licensing, or we had people that actually set up in the right of way and caused an accident or whatever be the case, we'd have better enforcement. We've set forth the guidelines and the time frame. And we're just asking for the Board of Supervisors, instead of us reviewing them, that this can be presented then, put out there, social media, presented to at the meeting to let people know, yes, you're allowed to, post, whether it be a food stand, whether you want people to camp on your property during those days. As long as you're meeting all the criteria, which include you can't set up in the right of way, you've got to have potable water, you've got to have your other state licenses, food inspections, meet health codes, restroom requirements, and solid waste removal. So pretty
And-
basic,
And
but
you've looped everybody in?
Yep.
Roads, public health, sheriff.
everybody had input. So
Okay.
So
Board.
if anybody wishing to do this has to apply for a permit.
we're not, I mean, we don't have the manpower to do a permit. Some
Okay.
counties do that, some don't. We don't have the manpower to go out and keep track of, who's setting up. So we just want to set forth the guidelines. Again, it's more of an enforcement thing. If there would be an issue that these were set forth, they were made public, and if you don't follow them, then, the citations could be issued according to Marion County Code 1.11.
All right.
Keisha. All right. Is there a motion on this?
I move we approve resolution 2024-50.
Second.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey.
Aye. Very good. Missy, thank you.
Oh, I'm here to stay for a while.
She's up
Oh,
there
you're here?
for a
You're up here
while.
for a little bit? All right. We'll declare the public hearing open. This is a proposed Marion County zoning map amendment, ordinance 2024-1. Not going to read the rest of it. You can see it on your screen.
So this is the map that we are trying to clean up. This is the current zoning map, the D-High property that has a mixture of zoning that was from 1980. Ann and I worked on it. Legals don't really match, but moving forward, the property's selling, and we are trying to clean up the area. So go back 2 maps. So the one we're currently talking about on 2024-1 is the farmland that is shown in the green there. And that currently is showing as industrial, because at one point there was some type of salvage operation that has not existed in probably 20 years at least. And the request is that we just take it back to A1. It's being used as agricultural ground. And I'm not gonna lie, leaving large chunks of industrial ground out on 6 miles of gravel, probably not a good idea from a zoning standpoint. So we are asking, this petition is asking to take that back to the A1 as it's being used. This has been through the zoning commission, who gave approval
Okay.
in April.
All right, very good. This is the public hearing portion. Are there any public comments on this proposed amendment? Anything online, Emily? And nothing in-house? Very good. If there are none, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Make motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
All right, ordinance 2024-1, which is to approve the first reading of said ordinance. 2024-1. So Missy, it's just everything we talked about. This is the
Yep, this
final
is just
version.
everything we talked about.
Board?
The ordinance, so I can amend the map. No problem.
All right, is there a motion?
Make motion to approve, ordinance 2024-1, approval of first reading.
Second.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
Okay, item number 10 waives the second and third reading and authorizes final publishing of this change. Is there a motion?
Make that motion to approve ordinance 2024-1, waiving second and third, and the final approval authorizing change.
Second.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey.
Aye, very good. Missy, you still up there?
I'm still up here.
All right. All right, we'll declare this public hearing open. This is a proposed zoning map amendment ordinance 2024-2.
So this is also the D-High property, and this would be the parcel E that's outlined in the purple at the bottom, that currently is a mixture of agricultural, commercial, and a small portion of industrial. Can you go to the next map? I'm sorry, back up. So the proposal on this is there has been There has been, there you go, hopefully, a small industrial operation, one employee, they make fence anchors and, those type of fencing things. There's very little traffic to the building. They ship everything. And this property is also being sold, and they're asking to clear up a mapping error that we have from 1980. Again, as we review, this actually was supposed to have gone to industrial when the rest of it did, but it never got changed. So we need to clean up the mapping issue. Because we're actually looking at more of a map fix, it went through both our county roads department and zoning and environmental health, which they've installed a new septic. They've worked with Cameron on that. Tyler and I both looked at it. This is an existing property that, you know, the allowed use should go on, but that is why you'll see that it's going to M1 restricted for this purpose only. The restriction being that the property now selling to the new owners like to be corrected. The proposed zoning as M1 are light industrial restricted. Any expansion or use change would be subject to further review by the zoning commission and the board of supervisors for approval. The location of the property is on approximately 6 miles of gravel, so it wouldn't be suitable for a Weiler or anything like that.
Right.
So.
All right, this is the public hearing portion. Any comments from the public? Emily, anything online?
I would add through this process on both of these, we didn't have any, we've notified property owners on both for the zoning commission and the supervisors. We had no input.
All right, very good. Nothing internal, nothing external. Is there a motion to close public hearing?
Make motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
All right, very good. Ordinance 2024-2, which is to approve the first reading of said ordinance. Is there a motion?
Make motion to approve ordinance 2024-2, approving the first reading.
Second.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye.
McComb.
Aye.
Very good. Ordinance 2024-2, waive second and third and authorize final publication. Is there a motion?
Make motion to approve ordinance 2024-2, waiving second and third and final approval.
Second.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey.
Aye, very good. You still there, Missy?
I am still here.
Wow.
So before you, you have a proposed land use change, and this is on the edge of Otley. You'll see what's outlined in red, which currently is partially commercial and then extends into medium density residential. In order to discuss the following zoning ordinance change, you first need to address the land use. Obviously, by just the amendment of the land use plan or map does not obligate approval of the following zoning petition, but it needs to be addressed. I mean, this obviously lays with highway, 4-lane highway on the, I call it the south, but Otley doesn't lay square to the world, so I don't really know. And then Business Highway 163. So it is surrounded by hard surface road and does, you know, make sense to look at it as commercial and an expansion of the current commercial on the land use map.
Okay. So any questions from Missy on amending this land use plan? Steve?
Fine with that.
No.
All right, if there is nothing, is there a motion?
Make motion to approve resolution 2024-51.
Second.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey,
Aye,
Johnner.
Aye.
very good. Let me guess, Missy, you're still there.
I'm still here.
All right. Public hearing is open on proposed Marion County zoning map amendment ordinance 2024-3.
This is for the property that is noted as 215 Summit Street in Otley, the old Pella School, which Jake went to school at. So got some
Alright.
information from Jake.
Alma mater.
This property closed in 1993, I believe Jake came up with. And so there's been little to no activity with this school except for some hosting some family events. I can note a few times it's been on the naughty list or non-compliant list because they stored salvage cars there. think the property's in deterioration and it's for sale because they're now, closing out an estate. So a couple months ago, Kyle Anderson reached out to the Marion County Zoning Office about the potential to relocate, AMC Mechanicals, the mechanical group from Pella to this location. They've outgrown the location in Pella and they are looking for a new location. They've looked in Pella, they've looked at several locations, and in this one, if the rezoning were to go through, they feel like could be suitable. They would be removing the current school and building a new building that would be presented on the site plan if this is approved. So currently they have about 35 member or workers. 85% of them go straight to the job site. So they have a lot, and they are a air conditioning and plumbing, commercial heating group. So this is more of a warehouse and then their office space, and probably 2 to 3 times a week. They said that their techs come reload their trucks and go on to the next job site. I've included in your packets the letter from Kyle Anderson. Also, there was some communication with a couple neighbors, and I did include the one letter I had. Concern is traffic. As I stated, this has been pretty much vacant since 1993, so anything's going to create more traffic than they've had for the past 25 years. The first block of this, actually, as noted by the road department, is a truck route to Two Rivers Co-op. And then there is no weight restrictions on the roads, but as noted by Mr. Anderson, typically they get 2 to 3 FedExes trucks a week, maybe 2 to 3 semis a month. And other than that, it's just your standard 1,500 series pickup. So, Kyle, do you have anything to add that I've left out?
All right.
Again, so if this were to pass, then they've kind of started the layout of where everything would go. It would be required to have detention, and they'd work with environmental health and,
Right.
but,
Okay.
yeah, I think it would be, this Otley is a town that I say is kind of a diamond in the rough, and we get some young entrepreneurs to invest in Otley, and it's got a great location. It's right on Highway 163, and to support the town of Otley and take down the building, and I gave you, he's looking at a substantial amount of investments. The other thing he noted is we looked at using the tax estimator a lot in Pella versus Otley.
Yeah.
And it's a significant savings in taxes that he could then invest into the property.
Excellent. Very good. This is the public hearing portion. Are there any comments from the public? Emily, anything?
Hi, my name's Tyler Tooney. I live right across the street from this property. I just a couple comments. I'll be brief, but I was the one that sent a letter, I think, in a previous hearing, just commenting on, yes, the traffic, which we understand would increase, and we are excited about the opportunity of a business coming into Otley for sure. But I think if you look at just the type of business it is, it's not something that's necessarily bringing customers or people coming in to use services or add value to the town. You may be using some of the employees might live a little bit closer or live in Otley, but it's not that type of business. It's going to be one that primarily warehousing. Yes, there is going to be trucks that come in, FedEx trucks and so on, a few times a week, and yeah, that is more than it has currently. But I think the first part of it there, that's on the road, that's Main Street there coming into Two Rivers, that's fine. But then as you get, I guess, to the northwest, it would be, that's not a paved road. That's just like tar and pea gravel essentially. So it's really not a road that's designed to have big trucks on it. So that, is one concern. You just think further out into the future as businesses grow. The goal obviously is to do more and be able to, succeed and increase the amount of traffic that comes through there. It will continue, and I don't know how long, sustainably that will be there. And you mentioned just the type of activity on the property, you know, being a residential now, the quiet, cleaner activity there necessarily. I don't know how much is going to be outdoor storage necessarily, but that has been a concern with that property before. And obviously this would be new owners. And, but I guess with the direction we'd like to go, we'd like to keep, things cleaned up and inside, and don't really want to have stuff sitting out and around. And, you know, lastly, just simply from had a young family, just having kids around and being directly across there, you know, going from, you know, 5-10 cars a day that go around that corner to, you know, probably 10 times that, and then including, trucks and so on. Just a concern. So, obviously we'll be willing to be open to, amicable and work with everybody that comes in there. That's no problem. But, just wanted to make that comment known. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you for your comments, sir. Appreciate it.
Tyler.
Missy?
I would add that this is going to, as shown, we were doing the C1 restricted. And again, the restriction is, the reason for the restriction is this parcel would not be acceptable when you look at general commercial. There's a whole host of things that can go in there that would not be suitable for this property. So as the restriction specifies, a restricted rezoning to allow for service commercial warehousing specific to plumbing and heating operation due to the location, size of the property, and the limited property access. There's also a sunset clause of 1 year being put on the property. A failure to commence after 1 year, Marion County may rezone back to the R2. I would also add that Mr. Anderson did at, in mine and Tyler's recommendation, he looked into potentially getting an easement from the backside. And unfortunately, the property owner that owns that property is locked into a contract with the post office that won't allow for any type of easement to come in from the backside of the property. So I think with that, Mr. Anderson has some comments. I'm going to hand him the.
Yeah. Hello, my name's Kyle Anderson. I live in Pella, Iowa. Like I said, we've started in 2019. We're currently leasing our space in Pella. We've had some growth, big growth. We do all commercial, industrial, HVAC, and plumbing. Like she had said, all of our employees live from down to Atumwa up in Waukee. So we've kind of got a range of employees. They all take their trucks home. So they drive straight from home to the job site. As for the business, you know, we're out of room. We do a lot of projects in the community. We're doing the Pella High School. We did the Pella High School. We are doing the Pella Jefferson edition. So we do have a lot of involvement in the community, but it's just tough in Pella. And this property came available. The owner has had a couple other offers on it. He's kind of holding off because he sees the need for someone like us to come in and clean the space up. There is a rendering of our facility that we're looking at. If it's attached or not, but
I gave you guys. I did include a couple drawings in this map. Like I said, I didn't get into I wanted to give you an idea, but I didn't get into the details of what would potentially be on a site plan because we're not at that point. But the location map go back to the map. I mean, Mr. Anderson is holding the building to the back against the farm ground pretty much as possible. It'll lay out the same way that the school's laid out currently. And then all of that goes down below will be held for the future septic, if approved, and detention requirements. And then the one potential outdoor store or dry storage, because I don't believe from what I've discussed with Mr. Anderson, there would be any type of outdoor storage of anything.
correct. So it's not all just our shop. So we actually have part of the 80 by 200 that we plan to build, will be our shop, and then about 60 foot by 80 foot, it would actually be our headquarters, like our office. So that's where I would work every day. So I would come, here, he would commute, my office manager and a couple other project managers. So it would be an everyday, you know, for us, handful of us. So, I mean, that's one thing that I guess, any concerns, we're making the journey to move here and then, you know, and put our shop here. I'm pretty particular on cleanliness. So, I mean, we're gonna make sure the property looks good. You know, we're adding detail and windows and awnings and some brick to the front to make the building pop, you know, and 'cause it's just, we're gonna take pride in what we do and in our buildings, so.
Well, very good. Let's just for the sake of order here, Missy, are there any other public comments? This is still
Mark, did you
public
have anything to
comment
add?
portion.
Mark is the owner of the, or the, executive.
Okay. Yeah.
Concerned on how it goes. There were several other people that wanted this, the same thing, but one of them was this trucking company, and I didn't really want semis going up and down that highway. Stuff like that. These are nice people, and they've made a good offer. If anything, they need to put up signage around to keep away from the neighbors there. You know, it's a good fit. It's one block off the highway and the old highway, and it's also one block off the Farm to Market Road, so it's a very nice fit for where.
Okay, very good. Thank you, sir, for your comments. Appreciate it. Are there any other public comments? Emily, anything? I'll check one more time. Anything in the room? All right, very good. Is there a motion to close the public hearing portion of this?
Make motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs.
Aye.
Very good. Now we have 2024-3, which is the proposed ordinance and map amendment. Board, do you have any questions of anything that's been raised?
Kyle, do you feel like you and Mr. Tyler could, you know, have good communication and work together here? Mr. Tyler, do you think you could do that? I mean, I do think it would benefit the property. I will say that in regarding, I've, you know, go by that area quite often too, and it's ran downhill. Yes, yes, yes. And, so I appreciate you willingness to, you know, clean it up, make it something that would be, you know, also property taxes. I mean, you know, that's also going to increase the property tax value that's currently there. You're aware that, you know, could be significant, you know, when you're talking about a commercial building. So,
Correct.
but Mr. Tyler, your property would probably also go up too because of a nice building across the way. So, you know, and value wise would be worth more if you were to ever to want to sell. So is that something you two could possibly, you know, work out and
Yes.
work together?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and
That-
like I said, a lot of our employees and stuff, you know, we're gonna be there in the morning, you know, and be gone by the time everyone gets home from work as well, you know, so.
Okay.
You might see me burning some midnight oil every once in a while, but I try to do that from the table at home, you know,
Right.
but other than that, it's normal operating hours and.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Steve, anything?
Yeah, I guess the only concerns I have would be the increased traffic on Seal Coat Road, you know, with semis and everything. That's my only concern.
Okay,
basically.
but not enough to,
Pardon me?
not enough to want
No.
to do it. Okay,
No.
good. Good. If that's the case, and there are no other comments from the board, is there a motion on this ordinance?
Make motion to approve ordinance 2024-3, approving first reading.
Second.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey.
Aye. Very good. We have same ordinance, waive second and third readings, and approve final publication. Is there a motion?
Make motion to approve ordinance 2024-3, waiving second and third and final approval.
Second.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey.
Aye. Very good. Thank you for your comments, folks.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you. All right. Resolution 2024-49. Tyler.
Yeah, so we were approached
In the home
actually
stretch.
there you go. So we were approached last year actually by conservation with some concerns about the safety at the intersection of Fillmore Drive and the entrance to the East Roberts Creek Campground. And then Steve brought it up again this spring. We had previously applied for a grant for upgrades to Fillmore Drive and some safety improvements associated with this, which would slightly realign the intersection. However, we were not awarded that grant, so nothing progressed in that fashion. So we revisited this intersection this spring for potential traffic control of some sort. And the main concern there is the seasonal recreational traffic entering the Roberts Creek East Campground, which is actually larger than what you see there because there's been an expansion of the campground to the south. So I didn't really want to put a stop sign up there. There really wasn't the warrants for a stop condition. And the concern that Steve had is the entrance to the campground is fairly steep. It's also a gravel road with large RVs or large trucks pulling large RVs. They have to maintain a certain speed to get up the hill into the campground. And with that traffic southbound coming around the corner, may or may not be cognizant of that. So I reviewed the manual and uniform traffic control devices, and I felt like a yield sign, it met all of the warrants except for the traffic control warrant, or excuse me, the crash history warrant. However, the warrants for yields are not like that of stop. There's guidance and there's standards, and for yields, the warrants are guidance. And it was also stated in the manual for uniform traffic control devices that with engineering judgment, a yield sign may be warranted. And because of the seasonal traffic, which may warrant unanticipated traffic volumes from a non-expectant direction, I believe that a yield sign is warranted for the southbound Fillmore Drive traffic here. That also puts more responsibility on the drivers themselves to be aware as they approach the intersection and make the decision for themselves, whether to enter the intersection or not. So my recommendation would be to approve the resolution for enforcement of the yield sign, which is a regulatory sign.
All right, very good. Thank you. Board, any questions, Steve?
No, I've often wondered why there wasn't there to begin, when there
Okay.
begin with.
Yeah. Keisha?
Yep, no, fine.
All right, is there a motion?
Make motion to approve resolution 2024-49.
Second,
McCombs,
aye.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
Very good. Road Department, up, Tyler, do we need to take a break before this? Is this
No.
short,
Well,
long?
I know you have
Give
a
me an
long
idea.
agenda. I will say I was hesitant to even put this on, and Jake kind of gave me the stink eye on it, but we have a lot of construction that's really just on the brink of beginning here. And so I just wanted to get as much information out as possible about the construction because there are major corridors of local and farm to market routes that will be impacted. First, I'll give an update on our Junction 92 shop. It has had zero progress since February. I mean, there's some delays with vendors and getting things approved. We're trying to find out more details, and it's very frustrating. So I really have no update on that.
What-
Hopefully we'll have one to come.
How, have we done any bidding, anything? I mean,
So we
any
are.
dollars expended
are-
yet, or?
There's been minimal dollars, basically some initial mobilization dollars expended.
Okay,
We are talking with the architect about the completion date, which is December 30, because a 9 to 12 month timeline was a fairly aggressive schedule, and we're looking at 6 months, probably before they start to meet that December completion date. So
Wow.
there's going to be some hard discussions that will have to be had here in the next.
Tyler, any
couple of weeks.
concern about, from a budgetary standpoint, cost overruns or anything like that?
Cost, no, I don't have those concerns yet. If anything, our money is sitting in the earning interest. I mean, we have the budgeted amounts and it's.
Well,
sitting there
hopefully the
earning more
costs don't
interest,
go
but,
past the inflation rate and the interest rate. Yeah.
I
Right?
mean, we're under contract for the bid amount.
Okay. All right.
So, and, the thing that comes into question would be liquidated damages and that sort of thing going
Yep.
beyond the completion date, and can we justify that?
You're still, but you're still good on original estimate?
With the main shop, I will say we have other things that have to happen once the main shop is up, and hopefully inflation does not impact those ancillary structures and auxiliary buildings
Well,
and
tomorrow it's gonna go
infrastructure.
up again. Jake, any issues with ARPA money?
Nope.
Okay, we're locked in,
Yeah,
designated, good, okay.
the funds are obligated, what do we have through December 2026 or 7 to expend those funds?
We're good.
All right.
And we'll be in real trouble if we get that far along.
Mhm.
But we are monitoring it.
All right, all right.
T-15 Flagler Bridge, not much good news there either. We've been at a standstill for 2 weeks waiting on railroad approval for the beam setting plan. Bridge is ready to set the beams on, but the railroad has had the beam setting plan since like the second, maybe third week of February. Had their initial review, comments were provided back to them or comments were revised and sent back to the railroad about a month ago on their initial review. And the third iteration of that, comments were received today. So hopefully by the end of the week, the contractor has heard back from the railroad with an approved, beam setting plan. We are at their mercy, unfortunately. And, I think the contractor did to the best of their ability, submitted it in a timely fashion, once the bid letting occurred and things were in order for construction, they submitted the beam setting plan in a timely fashion. It's just a matter of, honestly, they progressed fairly quickly in their schedule and we're making good progress. So that kind of led to the delay, I guess, at this point, because they were ready and the railroad wasn't. G28, this project is set to begin tomorrow per Scott, just a few minutes ago. He said that the contractor is going to start milling on G28. So what I want to point out on this project, this is one of our major corridors in Marion County. It's 8.5 miles that's involved with the project. Construction will be 1 lane throughout the entire project in various stages. So 1 to 2 mile increments of lane closure progressing west to east or east to west or both. You can expect delays of 9 to 10 minutes. The contractor is supposed to keep them below 9 minutes. Delays could be if you're traveling on the G28 corridor or if you live adjacent to the corridor or in a subdivision adjacent to the corridor, you can expect delays. At times, there may be entrances or roads to your subdivision that may be closed. Some subdivisions have multiple ways of entry. To save on flaggers, to make it easier for traffic control, we may close one entrance and force everybody to another. So just be cognizant of that. I've tried to notify all the homeowners associations for which I had contact information for regarding these issues. Beginning tomorrow, the surface will be rough and milled. Lanes may be uneven and there will be no pavement markings. All or most of that will be, all of that will be, have signs up, traffic control, pay attention. Throughout the duration of the project, there will be no pavement markings.
How long's the duration?
6 to 8 weeks. The milling will progress first, then there's a 1-inch inner layer of asphalt, and then there's 2 more lifts. So throughout, we're just staging lanes, and so there'll be no pavement markings and lanes will be uneven. And what I also want to highlight is the lanes may be uneven at center line or at the edge line. Our milling will create a lip at the edge for a short period of time.
All that's weather related also. I mean, they can't lay asphalt in the rain, so.
Yeah,
that's
correct.
gonna-
G76, this was set to begin Monday. This is a shoulder paving project and widening project. The widening portion is largely complete. The milling was the shoulder paving was supposed to start Monday. Obviously, weather delayed that. Tentatively, that's scheduled to resume on Monday, next Monday. And then T15, so this would be north of the Flagler Bridge at Chrisman Corner or T15 S71 intersection. There is a safety improvement project there to pave the shoulders as well with a high friction surface interlayer there as well as part of that safety grant. That's 100% safety grant funded.
Will
Tyler?
that be closed, to 1 lane, or how will that be working?
All G28, G76, T15 will all be 1 lane. with flaggers and pilot car.
You say G76 was postponed till beginning next week?
Weather permitting. Everything I'm saying is weather permitting.
I know
Yeah.
that, but I'm concerned about G76 because I got a guy staying in my house that works for Norris.
No,
from
it
up-
will
from
be,
Arkansas.
it'll be one lane,
Is that a comment on who's staying at your house,
He's-
Steve, or?
He's camping there and I just curious and so, okay. That's all I needed to know.
G76 is on the Ragbri route. We have noted that or made the contractor aware of that. Their pre-ride is scheduled for June 5th and 6th for Marion County. So we hope to have that completed by June 5th. So we are out of their way. But the contractor is definitely aware of the July 24 date for having that project complete. So a couple of major farm to market routes. These are gravel road projects that we'll be doing. 150th, so this would be 150th north of Highway G44 to the South Shore subdivision, South Shore Heights subdivision. We will be doing a regrade between 140th and Jersey Drive, tentatively scheduled for Monday, weather permitting. There's a lot of dirt work involved with this part of the project, so we'll be watching the weather closely. That will be fairly inconvenient for South Shore. This is like our second or third highest volume gravel road, largely because there's a subdivision with nearly 100 homes and lot of young families in that subdivision. Traffic will be staged with traffic signals. So residents of the South Shore subdivision should expect delays getting to and from their homes. So my recommendation would be to plan your trips to town accordingly. Same with all these projects. Then, once the regrade segment is complete, our crews will also be performing gravel road stabilization on 150th in its entirety from G44 to the north end of the South Shore subdivision. Subsequently, we will be doing gravel stabilization on 216th. We will probably start rocking that later today, if not tomorrow. And then the stabilization will likely be set for around the 1st of June for 216th. The Howe Bottom Road is known locally. This would be between T17 and 198th place.
It's like 3 miles, isn't it?
2.1.
2 point, okay.
And then that is all work that we plan to do here in the next 2 months. That's fairly aggressive schedule for contractors and for our own crews. And we will roll right into the new fiscal year with the same aggression. We have lots of work scheduled for our crews. We're dealing with a few property owners getting agreements and whatnot for other regrade projects. Another one on our highest volume gravel roads. So when we talk about high volume gravel roads, I was out there the other day for 9 minutes and I met 19 cars. And in the middle of the day, 10 o'clock in the morning. So residents are very interested in our project there. That will be a regrade followed by base stabilization as well. That's 240th from the Vermeer campus and the pavement there at the city to the seal coat known as the Sully Road or T22. And the other regrades, we're looking at 155th or the Weller Road south of Highway G76, that first segment there. And also 180th north of Highway 163. This is a regrade project kind of in conjunction with a project Iowa DOT is doing on Highway 163. We'll to improve intersection sight distance at, help me out, Dubuque. We will be raising that intersection up and the DOT contractor will be hauling us dirt from the shoulder paving project on Highway 163. And we'll be regrading that road in its entirety, but primarily focusing on that intersection at first. And then other projects of note that impact county roads, Old Highway 92 bridge. So this was the viaduct of Old Highway 92 over New 92. That is scheduled for a bridge deck overlay rehab project similar to what you're seeing on Highway 92 right now at English Creek. For sometime this summer, checked last week with the local DOT. They have not had a pre-construction meeting. We hope that is later in the summer, if not a fall project, because that is our current detour for our Flagler Bridge, which is slightly behind schedule at this point. And then also Red Rock Dam closures. There's nothing known for sure at this time, but there are Red Rock Dam closures scheduled or upcoming in the month of June. We just don't know the exact dates for that. So again, we try to get that out as well as the Corps of Engineers as soon as we all know.
T15, how long will the Chrisman Corner? How long?
Less than a week. Okay. The bulk of that work will be done in the first couple of days.
Good. Any other questions for Tyler on that series of, that's a lot of work.
It's gonna be a busy few months here.
Yeah.
3 or 4 months.
Thanks to the team for doing that. That's going to keep them hopping, I know.
Yeah,
So,
some of this work will be different, new for our road crews, work that we haven't physically done ourselves. So, I think we've got a good plan together and we look forward to getting it done and making some sustainability improvements to our gravel roads.
okay, very good.
I do have one question, Tyler. I was asked this here the other day. What is in the 5-year plan is, the old 92 east of T17?
We have no plans for Old 92 East in the 5-year plan. It's shown in there, but there's no funding available
Okay.
for it.
All right,
East of, you're talking about east of T17,
correct.
Old 90, that portion is a local road. The
Okay.
portion that we did to the west is a farm to market route, and we coupled some safety money with that project.
Okay.
But to the east, it is a
Well, I mean, that,
4.5 mile local road segment, and we don't have $4 million. to
well,
spare,
at least
so.
at least we can explain that. then.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Is there a motion to close discussion?
Make a
Thanks,
motion to
Tyler.
close discussion.
Second?
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner,
Aye.
McComb.
Aye.
All right, VA campus laundry building roof repair equipment removal update. Mr. Nestovy.
Well, hi, board.
Why? That's not
Thank you-
why, that's
Thank
high.
you for the duration. I
said
mean,
hi.
it's been taking a while, but
Yeah, I
thank you
said
for your
hi.
patience, Chris.
It's gonna get punchy now, Chris. Let's go.
Hey, yeah, so, this is just a standard topic as we receive, different bids specifically for the removal of the equipment inside. We like to make the board aware. As you know, our last standing bid to empty that building was around 90,000 over the winter time. We have recently received a bid of 35,000 from a recycling company who would actually recycle almost everything inside. Hence the reason it's a lot lower bid. So 35,000 to empty and recycle everything inside that campus or everything inside the laundry building.
And then there was also an alternate that was put on. I just had asked
For
the
the water
question for the water tower, and that could be a discussion that we would, further have. But
How much
The
is
one
that
thing I am continually seeing and,
50,000.
for the water?
as we have people come look at this building, it's very difficult. If our intention is to still sell it, it's very difficult for people to see past what's inside of it. That seems to be the standard thing we run into. I will openly admit I didn't give that enough credence in the beginning because it's easy for me to see past that. It's not necessarily easy to see past that. If you are a potential business owner trying to think about what you can do in that space, it's really tough when you're staring at a dryer the size of a small house.
Mhm.
How do I work around this? So that's why we continue to look for bids to empty that building. This one was important to bring to the board's attention because it is such a far cry from what we've been looking at. If you recall, originally we were 160,000, then it went to 90,000. Now with this company, we're at 35,000 to remove the interior structures.
And, Chris, does that include that includes roof repair?
No, the roof repair,
That's a separate deal.
McCarty Roofing and Repair is still gonna hold their bid at 29.9 to
Okay.
fix, and that's gonna add about 10 years to the life of that roof.
I was pleased in regarding what Mr. Kaufman, it's Kaufman Metal Recycling. I believe Mr. Kaufman could possibly be online if we have questions, but his process estimate duration was 2 weeks. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was important to bring it before the board too, when Chris and I met Mr. Kaufman out there, that if we could remove this and then have a building that would be possibly ready to somewhat market. I thought it was important to bring it to the
So,
board.
so to spend 35, we have a greater potential. Our probability goes up to sell the building, but from what to what, Chris?
That's, I can't quantify that number.
Okay,
I mean, just in fairness, there's no way to quantify that.
yeah, okay.
I know that my experience for going on 3 years of showing this building to people is they look outside, they get really excited. They go inside, it's overwhelming.
If we were to just say, let's just demo the whole thing, would this 35 get absorbed in that? Because the way I would look at it is this: if I talked to Brian and Heather said, look, we don't want it. Because that was the original. It's not on you. It's not on anybody. We all thought, let's keep it standing. They might have some value. And we're finding out it doesn't have much value, or at least it's difficult to market. So if we take stuff out of it, we get a shot at marketing. But if that doesn't work, in other words, it goes from a probability of 0.5 to 0.10, then we just incorporate it within our demo cost.
That's probably a fair way of.
Because that's
looking at
probably
it.
what's happening next. We can't market it after this. The next thing is we got to do something with it. Can't just leave it standing there.
I mean,
Right?
at minimum.
Right? Heather, Brian, any comment on that?
That's always been an option for us, yeah.
Can you use the mic, Brian?
Oh, I guess I'm hiding it for you, Brad.
Yeah, correct, Mark. That's always been an option from day one that we talked about. It was a nice building. It had potential. Everybody we talked to said the same thing. And so what are we out? Let's keep it, see if there's value there, if somebody's interested. If not, yeah, that's something we have to think about and keep in consideration as we move down this process. Yeah, demolition may be the option.
Okay. All right. So 35 to tear it out doesn't bother me at all. I have no issues with that. If we want to go with, you said 50 for the water tower, Keisha?
So yeah, it would be an additional 50 is what he put as just an alternate, because I had asked in
Yeah.
regard, while he was there. I would also like for you, the board, to just consider, I did do some research in regarding this, because it's always the question of money. Where are we paying this, we do have extra funds in our capital improvement funding. Michaela, our treasurer, has done an excellent job in doing getting interest in our ARPA funds. So we have some substantial interest there. And then we do have some ARPA funds that have not been used.
How much haven't we expended in ARPA?
There is less than, I don't have
It's
it in front of
100,
me.
I have it
Yeah,
right here,
less
it's
than
100.
200 and obligated,
That's
obligated.
what's there, and this is the interest that we pay.
So for clarification, we've been using the word obligated is we have to obligate money before a certain date and then we turn in annual expenses. So there's less than 200 of the total amount that's been obligated. A few projects,
Have not
maybe some of
been,
Chris's
yeah.
have not been,
This one
the
has not been.
expenses haven't necessarily reached our obligation. So just to make sure we understand obligated versus actual
Right.
expense.
Correct.
And then that doesn't include, the interest does not need to be reported on our annual expense reports.
Right.
So
Right.
that would be, if you'd want to go.
But if I'm
there.
reading the report right, we've got 190,000 of unobligated dollars left for ARPA.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't we use it for this?
That's a great question.
But it doesn't
Yeah.
impact the taxpayer.
Other
We got to
thoughts.
spend it by
Yeah.
by 26 anyway.
Yeah, one of the other things I thought that, ARPA could be used, especially with your major obligation to the secondary road shop, is that anything left over ARPA that was, from federal would be just applied to the Junction 92 shop, reducing any further pull on, Fund 20 or the general fund. So, I mean, ultimately, the
It's
general
gonna be a
fund.
wash one way or the other though, Jake. We're gonna pull from
Right.
one or the other.
Right. We have to track projects, through the ARPA thing. So if you want to use ARPA money, you can, I think it fits because we're under that, the revenue clause, the $10 million clause. We
Yeah.
just we'll have to track this as a separate project. I would think obviously general fund can be used for anything for this amount. So.
Well,
you guys want to do it.
Well, how much is left in capital improvement? these three right here, and this is not demo. But if we were to take the water tower down, fix the roof, and do this, we're still well under the 190. So we could start incrementally saying, let's use 35 of it to clean the building out, see where that takes us from a marketing standpoint. Doesn't impact our general fund, doesn't impact the taxpayer. That's the best use of those dollars. If we have to pull from interest later or from capital improvements, that at least we've got that powder dry to call for that. And right now, we don't know what else might be needed for.
Yeah, the capital improvements project fund, would probably be the bottom of my recommendation to use.
I agree.
Because that, in my mind, is more of a new construction improvement.
Correct.
than- Which, this is improving the land, I get that.
That's
but,
correct.
You know, an ARPA use or general fund use, just a general fund use
Yeah.
would probably.
Yeah, Steve?
that.
Does anybody remember why we left the water tower? Wasn't that part of the historical preservation part of that?
When we were thinking about the VA district, way back when, Brian, we were saying that might be a good symbol of what that would be. And so to leave that there, that was.
And also possibly a help, like if somebody wanted to use it for a marketing tool.
Yeah.
But I also know that I've never had anybody say, oh, I really like that and I want to use that. So I just, it's important that we at least talk about it and
Well,
that,
my question being, we're not stuck having to leave that there for any reason.
Brian?
No, correct. Yeah, it's same mindset as the laundry building,
Well, the laundry
if
building made sense.
we're
the
gonna
water
take it
tower
down.
didn't.
If there's interest, why take it down now? And just save the county, that demolition cost if somebody's interested in having it for whatever reason, nostalgia, marketing, whatever that may be. Because there are a few people that, have some interest in it or think that it's, I guess, a neat landmark. So that was kind of along with the historical preservation side of it. Either way, that cost, we were gonna, if we are demolishing it, we were gonna demolish it anyway, so we were like, let's just leave it for now and see if there's interest. Worst case scenario, like you said, Steve, you're back to square one, demoing it like you were going to.
Well, yeah, I don't have a problem with the $35,000 right now. I think Chris makes perfect sense. I mean, when you walk in there, it is overwhelming, especially if you're looking at putting a business, what am I gonna do with all this stuff?
Well, I think if we think there's an opportunity to again remarket the building and at least take a shot at it.
I
We're
think
yeah.
pull the equipment out. And I
Yeah.
also think you fix the roof at the
Right.
bare minimum.
So at those two prices, if I'm Keisha, 35 and 29.9,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
We pull that from ARPA, we can cover both of those costs and take a shot at marketing the building again. Doesn't impact general fund, doesn't impact taxpayer. Well, it does. It's the federal government that handed out all the stimulus. But at least we keep our powder dry on our other accounts for other things that we need.
Hey, Chris, for that VA laundry building repair, is that the glass, that include fixing the glass?
No, it does not,
does
Steve.
not.
That is literally
Okay.
just roof repair.
Okay.
And I can get some numbers on the glass repair as well. I mean, that's a very nominal small cost.
Yeah, let's do these two.
That'd be a
things.
fairly small cost, Steve.
You guys in
When
agreement on
when I said VA laundry building repair, I meant, you know.
Yeah, we're literally just talking the roof,
The
and
roof,
it's the roof gutter system. So those are all in roof gutters and the flanges around them need repaired. That's the biggest portion of the repair on that roof.
Okay. Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we have initially met a couple times, county, city. We spoke to IEDA about the building, trying to get some of their input. And we'll be happy to continue those conversations and try to work towards that marketing like you talked about, and do whatever we can to help push that along. Once we get it cleaned out, I do think that's probably our best option. So we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Jake?
So from an administration standpoint, if what I'm hearing, it's a consensus, to use of ARPA money for this project. We have to track those separately. I would recommend that we continue with the process of formulating a resolution for the next meeting. We call that we'll call this a project. We'll assign a separate chart of account number if invoices come in that Chris turns in or whoever turns in, we track them to that. And then, we just completed our annual report, just very recently, but I would appreciate, that way we can say these additional funds are obligated. This is a specific project. We'll create a specific chart, and then that would be your approval to go forward.
So
if
it-
you're
would
at a point
would
with
it
bid.
would it be okay for Chris to at least confirm? I mean, any issues waiting a couple weeks, Chris? On these
No,
bids?
zero issues waiting a couple weeks.
Okay.
These prices, from what I understand, are held.
I just don't want to
for the
lose, I
board
just
to
don't want
make
to
a
lose it
decision.
if we've got it.
Yeah, right.
So if we're talking a 2-week delay, I don't see any change in any
Okay.
material change at all in either one of these.
So in
Okay.
preparation, would it be your vision to just include obligating amount of the water tower as well? So that way it's part of this project, or would you want to consider that to be a separate project down the road? It
I'm-
doesn't matter to me.
Brian, unless you guys want to keep that thing, we got 190,000 left of the government, of federal government dollars. We might as well just get rid of it. Anybody oppose that? From
I think we'd all
Knoxville?
agree, you know, we left it to see if there was possibility and we wouldn't argue that at all. Yeah, I agree.
All right, federal dollars to demolish or to at least take down a federal thing. Thank you.
Is Mr. Kaufman on by chance? Mr. Kaufman?
Yes, I am.
Hi, thank you for joining us. And regarding this, if in 2 weeks would that be you see that being an issue at all?
Not at all. That'd be just fine.
Okay, all right. I appreciate your patience in waiting while we've been going through this meeting.
So the
Hey, I'm
really,
in government myself, so this has been very informative.
so Jake, probably nothing for us to take action on other than you prepare a resolution for
Yep.
all three items.
Just like we did all your other previous obligations.
Okay, and then we'll do that at the next meeting. Sound good? Board?
Yep, no, sounds good.
Chris?
Appreciate the conversation, appreciate Mr. Kaufman coming down and visiting with us, and thank you, Chris, for your due diligence, so.
All right. Anything else, Chris?
I think you're gonna wanna ask me about.
Oh,
that,
well, let's
so
close
I think
discussion
we'll
on
just
this
stay
item.
here.
So is there a
Yes.
motion?
Make motion to close
I just
discussion.
wanted to hold down.
Second.
Johnner,
Aye.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey,
Aye. Special event permit, Knoxville Rotary. Chris?
Do you wanna let me
T.
know what it is?
I didn't see you standing back there. Welcome.
Thank you, T, for your patience.
Thank you. I have to tell you, he's a wonderful guy.
Yes, he
He
is.
kind of just gives you, have you done this? Well, I think I have. Well, anyway, it's not going, the plaque and the leaves that are going up for the trees that we planted at the courthouse and at the middle school for the Eagle Scout project, are going up today. And, it's more of a show and tell now, because we're going to go over to the library and have a lunch and the dedication, and then folks will walk over and see the leaves and see their names and the people who we're dedicating the trees to. So that's really what's going to be. It's not the celebration at the gazebo. It's more show and tell. Okay?
Good. Very good. Guys, any questions?
I don't have any questions.
No, I
I
have
appreciate it.
none.
Thanks, T.
All right.
Okay.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
just
the
for a
app-
point,
Oh,
can we do with the 15th and the 22nd?
Oh, yeah.
Just
Oh,
in
thank
this-
you.
I'm sorry.
There's a second, like at 6 o'clock at
different
night.
ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can we do the
All right,
15th and the
do-
22nd?
It'll
in
be
the
the,
motion?
yeah,
S-
it's
so
the
we
show
put it
and tell
together.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That
Is
is for the Eagle Scout, because
Yes.
he's having his celebration at the campgrounds.
So is there a motion to approve the special event application
you,
for
Tim.
the 15th and the 22nd?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
McCombs,
Thanks,
Aye.
Steve.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
Updates, Steve?
I have none.
Keisha?
Yes, aging resources, I have impact, and also just reminding the board, the next meeting, we will be appointing for Pleasant Grove trustee.
Very good. Make sure we get that on the agenda, Jake.
Oh, yeah.
21 or 2?
One.
yeah.
Uno. Yes.
Yep.
Nothing from me. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make motion, we adjourn.
Second.
McCombs,
Aye.
Ramey,
Aye.
Johnner.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.